Today, we're going to be covering an overview of the buying process. Number one, we're going to make sure that the buyer is pre-qualified or pre-approved for a loan. The most important thing is going to be the monthly payments and their affordability. So they're going to take into account the principal, the interest, the taxes, and insurance. And then, of course, we want to have some funds set aside for any repairs that you might have or any emergencies. Secondly, we're going to take that number and now we're going to have an overview of the price range. And with this price range, we're going to take a look at the neighborhoods where this price range can fit your needs, depending on the number of bedrooms, baths, views, pools, whatever you might need. Now, once we locate a property and we have an offer that's accepted, we're going to move into escrow. Generally, the initial deposit is about 3% of the purchase price. So let's just say $1 million, 3% would be $30,000. And that initial deposit will be going to escrow usually within about 3 business days after the offer has been accepted. And then we have the contingencies, which would be generally the loan contingency, inspection contingency, and appraisal contingency. So the buyer needs to be satisfied with all those 3 and make sure that this is actually the house that they would like. And then from there, we can move forward. Now, the contingency periods really vary. Some people like to remove all contingencies or not have contingencies. I personally don't feel comfortable with that, and I want to make sure that my client have their contingencies in place, which means that if something should happen during that time and they change their mind, then we have the ability to get out of escrow. There might be like some fees to the escrow company for canceling, but generally, as long as your contingencies are in place, then you're all set. The whole process of the escrow takes about 30 days, and you'll know ahead of time what's coming up. So in the beginning of the escrow process, based on the purchase date and the date that we have for closing, let's just say 30 days later, you'll know what dates are coming up and what items are coming up during those times. And we will be keeping in close contact with you all the time. So there's a lot of information going back and forth. Clients are the most comfortable when they're able to communicate with me as much as they need to. I've been a buyer myself, had to move myself, so I know that the process can be overwhelming if you don't know what's coming up. So we like to be in close contact. So once we have all those items done, and I'm going to include videos for each of the items that I just spoke about, now we want to make sure that the loan is continuing to move forward, which it has been all along. One of the things that I have found is that lenders typically need additional documents towards the end of the transaction. That could be something like additional paychecks, perhaps a final bank statement, something like that. So it's really good to keep your finances in order and your documents accessible for the lender. Then the next step is 5 days before the close of escrow. Typically, there's going to be a walkthrough, but it is not a contingency for the closing, okay? So the contingencies have already been removed, and we want to make sure that all the things that the seller said they were going to do, such as maybe fixing something, have been done, and you want to make sure that the property is in the same condition as when you purchased it. And then about 5 days later, then escrow will close, and then at that time, the title transfers from the seller to the buyer, and the buyer gets to move in. Our office is here to help you, and we will walk you through all the steps, the entire process. So I'm looking forward to working with you, and make sure to give me a call if you have any questions. My number is below. Take care. Bye-bye.